The atmosphere inside the hospital room was heavy, not with despair, but with a divine presence that words can barely contain. After weeks of controversy, backlash, and heartfelt prayers from congregations around the globe, the unexpected happened. Frances Swaggart, the longtime matriarch of the Swaggart ministry, walked quietly into T.D. Jakes' hospital room, not with bitterness or retaliation in her heart, but with something far more powerful: forgiveness. This emotional moment has shaken the Christian world, not just for what it represents in terms of healing between two influential spiritual leaders, but for what it teaches millions watching about grace, redemption, and letting go. Just days before his hospitalization, Bishop T.D. Jakes had made controversial comments regarding Frances Swaggart, statements that many considered disrespectful and deeply inappropriate, given her legacy and the spiritual influence she carries. The remarks were met with an immediate storm of responses online, with thousands of Frances Swaggart's supporters calling out Jakes for his tone and apparent disregard. But behind the scenes, what the public didn't see was the growing weight of guilt that settled on T.D. Jakes' conscience. Sources close to his ministry revealed that ever since the backlash began, Jakes had been visibly shaken, not because of public criticism, but because he knew in his heart that he had crossed a line. Stress and emotional turmoil soon followed, culminating in his sudden admission to the hospital due to dangerously high blood pressure and severe fatigue. It was in that hospital bed, surrounded by beeping monitors and solemn staff, that T.D. Jakes found himself reflecting on his actions and praying not for healing of his body alone, but for a chance to right his wrongs. And then, the unthinkable happened. Frances Swaggart, whose dignity had been publicly questioned, chose not to respond with anger or instead, she reached out to his family quietly, requesting permission to visit him. When she entered that hospital room, there were no cameras, no grand announcements, just two spiritual giants, one broken and remorseful, the other graceful and unwavering. Eyewitnesses described the moment as nothing short of holy. T.D. Jakes, with tears in his eyes, reportedly took Frances's hand and whispered, "I was wrong, I am so sorry." Without hesitation, Frances, known for her unwavering poise and deep faith, responded simply, "I forgive you. We are called to love, not to destroy." Those few words brought not just healing to a broken man, but a wave of tears from every soul present in that room. Nurses were seen wiping their eyes, and even hospital staff who had no idea who Frances was found themselves moved by the sacredness of the moment. What followed was a long conversation, one where pain, humility, faith, and restoration met. Frances reminded Bishop Jakes that their calling was never about ego or public platforms, but about the souls watching them and learning from their example. "We all fall short," she reportedly said, "but it's how we rise that shows the world who we really serve." T.D. Jakes, humbled beyond words, later instructed his team to prepare a public statement apologizing to Frances Swaggart and to the body of Christ. But in many ways, that apology was already sealed, not by a press release, but by the gentle act of forgiveness at that hospital bedside. As news of Frances Swaggart's visit spread, the internet lit up with reactions. Fans from both ministries took to social media to express their admiration for her strength, love, and ability to reflect Christ even in painful situations. Many posted comments like, "This is what true Christianity looks like," and "Frances just preached a sermon without ever stepping on a stage." Others shared personal testimonies of how they were inspired to forgive loved ones after hearing the story. Some viewers even confessed to harboring anger in their own lives, which they were now ready to release. Frances's single act of grace ignited a wave of personal healing across homes and churches globally. What makes this moment even more powerful is its historical significance. Frances Swaggart and T.D. Jakes are two names deeply rooted in modern Christian ministry. Though they come from different theological approaches and backgrounds, both have touched millions. Their public reconciliation sends a profound message in a time where cancel culture, division, and pride often take center stage. It reminds us that humility is not weakness, that forgiveness is not defeat, and that love, real, raw, and uncomfortable love, still wins. Bishop Jakes, still recovering, is reportedly doing better after the encounter. According to close aides, his blood pressure stabilized shortly after Frances's visit. It's as if a burden was lifted, one insider shared. His spirit is lighter. He knows he's been given grace, and he wants to walk differently from here on out. Meanwhile, Frances Swaggart has returned home, continuing her ministry work with renewed focus and peace. When asked about the visit during a quiet moment back at Family Worship Center, she simply said, "I didn't go for cameras or credit. I went because Jesus would have." As the Christian world reflects on this emotional moment, many are calling it a wake-up call for leaders everywhere. In a time when ministries are often marked by competition, egos, and public feuds, Francis and T.D. Jakes just reminded everyone that the heart of Christianity is not in words, but in actions. And the action that heals deepest, speaks loudest, and lasts longest is forgiveness.